record because I know there's people who are going to be jumping on later. But we are so excited. I appreciate you guys taking time on kind of a random Wednesday evening. I just get so excited for this team. And one of the very most important things you can do when you become a coach is the first thing is you kind of sign up. And that can be scary or nerve-wracking or exciting or maybe a little bit of all three depending on where you're at. But it's really this first step of Emerald, and we'll break that down for you, that really helps you, I think, honestly, transition to being a business owner. It really, and I'll go into details, but it really unlocks the business for you because there's kind of two different ways that we can get paid. And honestly, the coaching side of it is so much more fun once you can kind of do all of this. So we're just going to talk about details tonight. I know we have some veteran coaches on, some new coaches on. And so if you guys have questions, please, please, please just drop them in the chat bar. No question is dumb. Like, they are all welcome. And I'm going to go ahead and share my screen here. Let me see here how I think I can make this a present mode. There we go. Okay. Can you guys see that okay? Is it? Yeah. Okay. Perfect. So Emerald is really your very first rank. And so I'm going to back up a little bit, and I would love, if you're able to, drop in, hey buddy, not right here, please. Thank you. Drop in the chat bar, why did you sign up to become a coach? Like, I just would love to hear your guys' reasons. I signed up to become a coach. I actually didn't even know what coaching was when I first started doing Beachbody years ago, but I heard about it after creeping on my coach on Instagram for 3 months. After I stumbled onto her account looking for a recipe idea. Literally, I didn't use social media, and I was typed in 21-day fix dinner ideas because I was like, oh, people share food on Instagram, and stumbled onto my coach's account. And like a creeper, I didn't actually follow her, but I went to her page every single day for 3 months. I just stalked her because I was so intrigued. I was like, oh, she's doing the same workouts that I'm doing, and she's helping people. And she's like home with her kids and doing I was like, what is this thing? So you never know, first of all, lesson, guys, is who's watching you right now. Like, there's creepers out there whose lives can be totally changed just by you continuing to show up. Melanie had no idea that I was watching her every day. But when I finally worked the nerve up to reach out for more information and talk to my husband and the whole thing, my first reasons were I'd like to get a discount on what I'm actually using. And the other one was I told my husband, I was like, I would love to be able just to have a little bit of extra, like to go towards a date night or groceries or something like that, because we were living paycheck to paycheck at the time. I had just finished grad school. He was in paramedic school and fire academy. We had just had our son. We had just bought a house. So life was really busy and really tight. What I didn't say, but was in the back of my head, and I don't know if any of you have this, and if you do, I'm going to challenge you to drop it here, because I, in the back of my mind, thought this could be my ticket out. This could allow me to stay home with my son and any future kids that we would have. But honestly, that sounded so terrifyingly far away and big to say that I couldn't even say it out loud to my husband. For so long, I couldn't even verbalize it, because if I said it, it almost like gave it power, if that makes sense. And so what I said when I started was like, I'd love to help people. I want a discount and I want to earn a little bit of extra income. And that was great. As I started as a coach, when I signed up, I told my husband, Ben, I said, he was so supportive from day one, which I'm so grateful for. And I said, I'm going to go all in for 3 months. Whatever my coach tells me to do, I'm going to do, even if it's jumping off a cliff, because that way, after 3 months, if I hate it, I will have known I at least gave it a legitimate effort and didn't just get scared and run away or was inconsistent, but I actually showed up and tried. You know, long story later, 5 years later, I'm still here. We have our daughter. I was able to quit my job. Business has been a blessing. But in those first 3 months, I wasn't seeing massive income growth. I wasn't seeing that I was going to quit my job. But what I fell in love with was the community. I fell in love with the potential that I started to see in this business through things like this of going Emerald and really starting to be able to help people. I started seeing the power of being able to share my story on social media and help other women. And that was addicting and so exciting, because it wasn't anything hugely extra that I was doing, but I was just sharing my really imperfect life Guys, I'm coming at you with no makeup right now. We're still a hot mess. And being able to help women with that. And when we kind of take, before I get into the nitty gritty details of this, I want you to take a second and just think about the power of what we get to do for so many women and guys. But health and fitness can be so personal, and having someone ask us to help them, to keep them accountable, to encourage them. You know, there's so many emotions and deep things tied up of how many diets or DVDs do they have sitting on their shelf, or gyms have they tried, or, you know, clothes that are sitting in the back of their closet that they can't put on. I remember one of my very first challengers in my group messaged me 3 months in and told me she was able to wear her wedding ring for the first time since having her son a year prior. And I just remember crying because I was like, man, that is so much more than her losing 20 pounds. That is like her marriage and her confidence. And so, I mean, it is so powerful what we get to do. And so as we talk about these business building behaviors, as we talk about things like Emerald and Success Club and numbers, I always want you guys to keep in the back of your mind, like, this is first and foremost about helping people, right? We are here to serve. We are here to help. This business is incredible. The compensation plan is incredible, and I'll go into that a little bit. But we always have to look at people first. And then knowing that each of these things, you know, we laugh about it, I'm very goal-oriented and task-oriented. So I just like achieving things for the sake of like hitting them, but I also love helping people. And for those of you who may not be as competitive, these things are all benchmarkers of helping people, and not only helping people, but helping your family and helping your future and opening doors. And so that's a really long introduction, but I always like to start with the right perspective before we jump into some of these nitty gritty things, because I think sometimes this stuff is like overwhelming, but when we can come at it from like remembering why we're starting. And let me just scroll through here. I want to see what you guys were chatting about. To quit my job, be a stay-at-home mom. I know, Katie. And like, guys, if you're not following Katie Grimm, she's in the hospital right now with her daughter, Sophia, who's fighting leukemia as a 1-year-old. And I will tell you, I have never seen someone show up for their business like Katie has. I know she's like, there's Sophia, but truly, if you want some inspiration about being real and having no excuses, and just, I mean, Katie, you're walking the walk, girl. And I just am humbled and blessed to have you on our team. I signed up to be a coach because I was loving the system and sharing a little anyways, and needed something to call my yes, Alicia, extra money to put towards debt. I know, Ashley, and look at you now. Stay-at-home mom with our kids. Ashley, love that. He didn't know he was on camera. Okay, perfect. These are so great. So let's dive in here, guys. So Emerald, and if you have been around for a while, I always like to keep in my mind, for those of you who are kind of like veteran coaches on the call, when we hit these goals, we don't just stop. We stay in defense. We just keep doing it over and over again. So Emerald is your very first big goal. And why it's important, like I said, it unlocks the earning potential that you have in this business. And I'll explain what that is. It also gives you customer leads. So if you don't know this, every month, there's just random people who sign up for Beachbody, like from an infomercial or Spotify ad or radio ad or anything like that. People surfing the web late at night. They disperse those customer leads to Emerald coaches and hire, which is awesome. So you can get just like freebies coming through. And then it also communicates that you have goals. It opens your business. It really helps you kind of start getting recognized as a leader, and it starts to grow your team. So those are kind of some big things. And then here's what it actually looks like. So some of you guys, if you just started, you are most likely an active coach. You have 50 PV, which is basically, you probably ordered a challenge pack. You probably have Shakeology or the Performance Line or Beachbody On Demand. So you're sitting here, which is awesome. You are open for business. An Emerald coach is simply the next step. So it is having at least one other coach on each of your legs. Now, if you're confused about what legs are, because I was for about 1.5 years in my business, and I am horrible at explaining it, what I would recommend that you do if you haven't yet is if you go into your coach online office, just Team Beachbody Coach online office, and the very top, I'm not going to go there because I don't want to lose this page, but there's a training tab. You cannot miss it. And then there's one that says compensation plan training. That breaks it down so much better than I ever could. And all you really need to know right now is, as you are getting started, make sure that you're connecting with your coach or myself about where to put people. So don't get confused with it yet. Just know that there's training on it. And it's really just signing up 2 people the same way that you started. That's all that it is. And then you kind of move up the ranks. So really, I was told that everyone skips Ruby. I actually hit Ruby, so not everybody does. But our goal is for you guys as new coaches, if you are serious about building your business, you don't need to get confused with all the gemstones. All I want you to think about is to think about, how can I help 2 people this month get started? That's it. And then your coach will help you figure out how to place them. But this is just 2 people. You're just helping 2 people. We're signing them up with your discount. That's all that it is. And then we're going to keep doing that. So within your first 30 days, and quite honestly, guys, you can do this tonight. Like literally you can go Emerald in 24. Like it's not hard. But definitely as a new coach, month max, week, that's where most new coaches hit it. You want to get Emerald. And then Diamond is really your next big one. And this, it opens up more income. You get added to leadership groups. It's really your big goal. And this is something that I would say within your first 3 to 6 months is a really good goal to hit. So we don't need to go into that right now. I just want to put that on your radar, but it's just 2 people. So we're helping 2 people this month, all that it is. And here is, before you're like, holy cow, what is Abby showing me? I'm like dead to the world right now with what I'm looking at. This is how you earn. And so again, go to the Coach Online Office and watch the videos. It will make a lot more sense. But basically, there's this beautiful thing with coaching that is called residual income, meaning you are getting paid even if you did not make a sale that week. And how it works is we basically have our sales commission, like when you sell a challenge pack or Energize or Collagen or anything that you send out with a link under your name, you are going to get 25 to 40% commission on that, which is awesome. So great. That's your paycheck. And as a new coach, that is going to be where a lot of your initial income comes from. But there's this other side. So we have our commission, but there's this other side called bonus. And what this is this is Beachbody looking at you and saying, hey, Stephanie, awesome. Your business is growing. We are going to reward you for that with some extra bonus money. That's all that it is. And so basically you'll have a weak leg and a strong leg. You're not sure where yours is. Again, talk to your coach or myself, and I'm happy to drill that down for you. But basically, to put it in a way, and I'm probably going to confuse all of you more, is every time you produce volume on your weak leg, mine is my left, every time you have a coach that signs up there that's working the business, or a coach that's maybe a discount and just ordering product, every time you have volume there, it's going to cycle off of this, which basically means, to like dumb it down for you guys, is that as your team grows, as your coaches, as you sign up, if you link arms with gals who are going to work this business, or maybe it's just someone getting the discount that's you signed up as an Emerald coach, every time they order anything or anyone under them orders anything like that, Beachbody just rewards you for that. And so as an Emerald, you'll just start getting random $14 or $28 or $56 paychecks week to week as your customers and coaches grow. That's all that it is. So it's not you taking a cut of their commission. It's not none of that. It's literally just Beachbody saying, hey, your team is doing awesome. We want to reward you for that. I'm sorry that was probably really confusing. And again, the training videos in the back office explain it a lot better. I did not understand this, quite honestly, until I started to see it happening in my business, because it started to make sense, like, oh yeah, she ordered, and okay, I see it. But I think it's important to know that this is possible, because what happens is as your cycle bonuses grow, this becomes something that even if you didn't sell something that week, you would still get a paycheck. Or it starts to become something as well that you can strategize on a little bit and actually start budgeting it around, because you can see it start to happen and you can project it. So let me just look at the chat here before I move on, because I want to make sure I'm not leaving. You've never heard of a Ruby. Yeah, Carmela, not many people hit it. It's basically you have your Emeralds in place and not your other coaches. So I watched the video 3 times and then felt so much better. Yeah, so watch the video. I don't explain it well. My husband makes fun of me. He's like, you're the worst at explaining this. I'm like, I know. But just know that it's there. $14 didn't seem like a lot in the beginning. It didn't cycle much, but it adds up. Yep, exactly, Katie. Getting paid without doing anything is awesome. So customer leads are when, like I said, Beachbody just gives you people. that come through. And so if you hit Success Club, meaning you have helped 3 people get started for the month with a challenge pack, and you're an Emerald coach, and you're active, you're going to get free customer leads. So you'll just randomly see commission. Honestly, the customer leads don't usually respond to me. I'll usually email them and introduce myself, and they don't usually respond, but I always let them know, hey, I'm your coach, I'm happy to help. And sometimes they plug into my challenge groups, but either way I get paid for them. So as long as I reach out, I'm really happy to help them. So that's kind of the gist, is starting to see it happen. And I'll show you guys just so you can see this while we're here. Don't laugh at my tabs. I know I have so many open. Okay, so here is where I'm talking about in your back office when you log into your Team Beachbody. And so a couple things to know. And this is one of my business centers. So this is my second business center. Once you get to a certain rank, you can keep opening. So it will show you on here, if you're in yours, it'll show you your coach ID. It'll show you your paid rank. So right now, one of my business centers is at Emerald. It was at Diamond. So a lot of yours will probably say coach. So this will show you here. You can see the training videos right here in the compensation program training. This is really, really helpful. And what I want to show you is what it actually looks like. So a couple things. Make sure, if you have not, first of all, done your direct deposit, this should be something all of you should have in place, but if not, it's right here, and this will help you get paid more quickly instead of them mailing you a check. So I recommend that. And you can see right here your earnings and commissions. Now I'll show you, this is for, we get paid on Thursdays and it gets deposited the next Thursday. So this is to show you as an Emerald coach. This is myself as an Emerald underneath me. I sold $32 worth of product last week, and I can click on here and I can see, okay, Tara reordered Shakeology. Awesome. She's a customer. Oh, let me go back here. And this is subscription commission. So this is a reorder of something. This is a reorder of Shakeology. This is Team Cycle bonus. This is $28 just sitting here that I wouldn't have gotten paid otherwise, but I had a volume that started to accrue. So this is basically what it looks like. So you guys can see that. Now I'll show you, just because for me, it was helpful to know potential as a new coach. And again, this is 5 years into my business, guys. So it's 5 years. I didn't earn anything as a coach for the first 3 weeks. And my first paycheck was $50. And I remember I was so ecstatic that I got paid $50. I like cried. I was just so thrilled. I'm like, this is the best job in the world. So I don't show you this to I don't want you to compare, but I do think it's important for you guys to see kind of why we talk about rank advancements and stuff. So this is my paycheck last week for this, and I'll just, if I can get this up here. It's like my computer's being so slow. So in this business center, I had a $700 Team Cycle bonus, right? So that's just sitting there, and that's because I've grown a team. I have customers reordering again. So I earned $1,000 in this account. But if I was just a coach, if I was not an Emerald coach or higher, I would have earned $189, which is awesome. And I'd be so happy about $189. But $700 on top of that is really incredible for my family and our futures. And so this is one of the reasons that I don't say this to be braggy at all. But I want you guys, when you come to us and you say, we really want to have a business and I want to stay home with my kids, if you just want to earn $50 a month, that is totally fine. There is no shame. But when I started, I was like, I need to pull my kids out of daycare and I need to make this happen. So this kind of stuff was really motivating for me. And so that's why we like to talk about Emerald. You're not going to get here tomorrow. You're not. You are. That's awesome. And you can do it. But I want you guys to be able to know, like, this is possible. And guys, I'm the biggest hot mess on the planet. So if I can do this, I promise you can too. Okay, so we talked about customer leads. So let's talk about now, now we get, Emerald's important, Abby, I get that. How do you get there? So my goal, like I said, is always to sign people up and like be Emerald in a week. And as a coach, this is also my goal every month, is to go emerald again. Like, I just try to keep going emerald over and over and over again, because that's builds stability in my thing. Katie or Caitlin, when does the cycle bonus pay out? It is, well, you get paid weekly. You get paid weekly, but I will show you this. It's every time 100 volume points on your weak side matches with 200 volume points on your strong side. And I know that might be confusing. So every time that happens, you will cycle. So a good way to look at it, and for those of you who are new coaches, you may not see a lot of this, but if you've been around for a little bit, let me show you something that might help really quick here. If you go to volume, and I like to monitor this. This is something that I really try to monitor all the time. I can see on here, you guys can see I have a strong leg and a weak leg, my left and my right. And then I click on my team volume. So I'm actually able, I can do the math and I can track my paychecks, right? So I can see I have 4,000, this will be as of today, I have 4,000 volume points on this side. And so I could do the math on here and actually divide the volume and see. And I can click into it and see exactly where it comes from and all of that. And you don't, again, yours won't look this complicated yet, and it shouldn't. Like, you guys aren't there yet, and you don't need to feel bad about that. But if you have, let's say you have 150 volume points, that 50 just sits in banks. So it sits in your carryover volume right here until you're able to cycle off of it. And one thing that's really cool is that when you become a coach, so right now I have 90 carryover volume points that's just been sitting there from last week. So I'll cycle on it this week. And I know that might be confusing for some of you guys, but one thing that's really cool, and I think the biggest takeaway right now that you need to know, is once you become a coach, even if you're a discount coach, you start banking volume beneath you. It just banks and banks and banks. And as soon as you're emerald, you're able to start cycling on that. So even people who are long-term customers of yours, they're banking volume underneath them. So it's one of those things where it might be worth at some point being like, hey girl, if your mom wants to join us in our group, let me help you get her set up, and you can actually earn a heck of a lot more income off of this, and we'll go from there. So how to get started. So the very first thing in your first week, I would personally recommend just going for it. So your very first person, for a lot of you guys, if you're a new coach, you probably have a $10 off promo code. If you're not a new coach, don't worry about it. But the very first person that I actually signed up as a coach was my husband. I signed him up a month in, not a week, but a month into being a coach. I used my first paycheck to sign him up, and he is now a coach underneath me. Ben's account, just sitting there, he earns about between $50 and $300 a week, just sitting there. So, and I'll talk about that a little bit more, but there's a strategy to have your spouse. So your spouse or significant other can be an awesome first coach. Your best friend, your mom, your sibling, your very first challenger. And I don't overcomplicate this. When I'm working with someone, I'm saying something like, hey, Stephanie, so excited you're getting started. I'm actually going to give you my discount and I'll share the script with you, but I don't overcomplicate it. I personally would be really ticked off if I learned that I could be saving 25% on something and someone didn't tell me. So I always lead with this because it truly is the best deal for them, and it helps me, sure, but it also is a really amazing deal for them. So don't get in your head about it. Just know, like, okay, my very first people, my very first conversations, and most likely your very first conversations about this business are going to be with people who know you really well. They probably are going to be with your friends, your coworkers, not just random strangers from the internet. They're going to be people who already know, like, and trust you. And then we just go emerald again. So like I said, every single month, I try to go off of it. So I offer the coaching opportunity first because they're savings. If you're military, if someone is a active duty or a veteran, or they have a spouse who is, they actually get the coaching, the $15 coach fee waived. And so they just are getting the 25% discount. So anybody who is military or a military spouse definitely needs to be signed up as a coach, even if they're not working, because it's an amazing deal for them. And then program launches. We have an amazing program launch coming up right now with 9-Week Control Freak. Stephanie's in the test group for it. It's going to be massive. This is another really big reason, because coaches get early access. So a lot of people will sign up to get the coaching perks, to get that early access package, and that's a really amazing opportunity for them. So that's kind of the overall strategy for it. Let's see here. I'm going to talk about this. Let's see here. So I'll just go with this. So people who are doing what you're doing, like if you have girls in your challenge group, be like, Stephanie, I see you, and Stephanie's right below me on Zoom, so that's why I keep calling her out. I see you logging your workout every single day in our group, girl. Like showing up for yourself is 90% of the battle. Have you ever thought about sharing that win that you just shared in our group on social media? You should totally make a post about that, girl. And then be like, girl, why not be a coach? You don't have to, as a new coach, know all of the answers on how to get them started or anything like that. You can plug them into our team, but don't be afraid to even lead with coaching. You might be a weekend, but you're loving this community and you're loving the resources and the tools. Like, you don't have to understand all of it. You can invite them in, like join the party. It's so much fun. I know that for me, I really leveled up my nutrition and my personal accountability, my workouts, once I became a coach. It wasn't as a customer, it was as a coach, because I had people who were looking up to me. I had a community to rely on a little bit more. And so it was the ultimate accountability. So I am not afraid to lead with this. I am not afraid to tell people about this, because if they don't want to do it, that's okay. But why would I not want to offer them something that will not only give them the extra accountability, but also allow them to pay for stuff? If we've seen anything in 2020, it's, having flexible income is important. And even like looking at Katie, like in the hospital with her daughter right now, like she has the opportunity to build a business still, and that's amazing. So don't be shy. And we'll talk about how to get people set up. And then the PB&J invite is basically just, I always kind of like something like I just said, like, hey, Stephanie, you're rocking it in our group right now. Like, I love seeing you show up. Have you ever thought about being a coach or joining me, however you want to phrase it? If not, totally no worries. I love your positivity. You inspire me every day. I'm so glad you're doing this with me. So you're kind of, it's not insincere, but you're making sure to like call out specific things that you're seeing in them and why you love working with them or would love to. Give them the invite and then give them the way out. Don't be weird. Don't be spammy. You're not being, you don't need to like be icky about it. It's just genuinely like, I love doing this with you. Like, Alicia, you're amazing. I would love to have you on my team. Like, this is so much fun. So here's an example. Hey girl, thanks for the love on my post. Watching my stories, putting myself out there isn't always easy, but I'm on a mission to help moms rediscover themselves postpartum, or whatever you want to say. Are you following me for faith, fitness, my sweet fam, or learning what I do as a coach? That is not spammy. That's not creepy. I don't think anyone's going to get offended when I send that message to them. So I send that to people watching my stories or liking my posts if I haven't talked to them before. And oftentimes it opens the door for them to say, oh yeah, I am following you for fitness. And I'm like, oh, cool. Are you doing a workout right now? And they're like, yeah, I'm trying to do, lose the baby weight. And it's so crazy. And I'm like, girl, I know. Home workouts have been a lifesaver for me. Do you want to try a free sample? And they're like, yeah, sure. And we just go from there. And it's just a conversation. So I think sometimes we get in our head about, oh my gosh, but if you're consistent in showing up in your social media and really just sharing, what workouts are you doing and what are you eating and adding value and serving, this kind of a message is not off-putting to people. We don't want you to be that girl on social media who's spamming everybody and cold inviting and being gross. But when you're genuinely sharing from the heart of what's working for you and being honest and authentic, like, people value that. And so this kind of message is really good. Hey girl, your feed is so inspiring. I think I just blew up your page, liking and commenting. Seriously though, you have such a powerful message going out. I'm always looking for positive influencers to join my team. Have you ever considered becoming a coach? I would not send this to just, again, some random person. This would be someone that I have been conversing with already. So don't just go spam random people on Instagram with this, please. That's what gives us a bad name. But if you have a relationship, something like that would be great. Okay, let's get you signed up. I always have to ask, would you be interested in signing up as a coach and getting 2 to 3 friends to do this with you? You get your whole challenge pack paid for and save 25% on everything you order after the challenge pack. Boom. Most people like to do this. If people are worried about the phrase coach, I usually just tell them, and I think Stephanie, you were on the call, I thought it was genius, where she was like, we're in the fitness industry. That's what we do. You don't have to coach people. Like, they don't have to coach. It's just what it's called. So I always like to be sure. And in our team Google Drive, there's actually something saved in here for you guys. And this link, if you don't know about this, we have an entire team Google Drive with all the things saved. If you don't know where this link is, let me know. It's in our files section on our team page. But if you just search discount coach, this is what I usually send someone. And I can drop it in the chat bar for you guys here too. But hey, Sandra, sent off the email for you. I got you signed up with my discount as a preferred affiliate discount coach, so you don't have to actually coach anyone, since it saves you 25% on any future orders, and it's exactly the same price as a customer. You can cancel at any point, no penalty at all. If you do decide to keep getting the discount, there's a $15.95 a month fee after 30 days that covers all the tools, etc. But even with that, you still save about $30 a month because of the discount on your products. If you don't want that, just let me know within 30 days and we can cancel it with no worries before that charge comes through. So I'm very open and transparent about it. I'm not trying to pull the wool over anyone's eyes. I'm not trying to be sleazy. I'm literally just telling them, like, here's the deal. And then, of course, you can also get a 25% commission on everything. You can see that broken down below. So if you have a friend who wants to jump in with us, let me know and I can help you. I think it's always good to invite a few friends to do it since it helps with accountability and makes it more fun. You're actually going to get an email with 3 $10 off promo codes. So if you want a family member or friend to join us, let me know and I can help you get them set up. I'm so excited to do this with you. And then down here, I break down, there's a, with the cost, and then this awesome, I did not create this, but this really great little affiliate where people love the term affiliate right now. So it like breaks it all down. So this is what I send someone like when they're getting signed up. And 9 times out of 10, people are like, awesome, I'm so excited. And then occasionally someone's like, yeah, no, thanks. I'm like, no worries, girl. We'll just sign you up as a customer and it's not a big deal. So I used to over like word vomit on people where it'd be like, I want to sign up, and I'd be like, blah, 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 all this stuff. And now I just do it this way. I'm like, here's the best bang for your buck. Here's what I'm excited to do for you. Let's go from there. So I'm just scrolling through here. Cute videos with pictures. Yeah. Canva and Unfold are where I do all of mine. And I'll share with you also this. I'm going to share this with you guys in the team page. I did not create this. Another coach did, and I love it. So I grabbed it from her. She's generous enough to share it with me. But this is something that I can send to anyone who's interested as well. And it's a little just blurb right here of like, cool, Katie, you're interested in learning more info? Awesome. You're trying to lose a baby after Sophia? Okay, great. I think this is going to be great for you. Let me send you this little PDF that shows it. And then they can click on it and it takes them right to like a little video on Shakeology, little video on Beachbody On Demand. So I'll share this with you guys. You will have this and can send to people. But really, as you're having these conversations, please reach out to myself, to your coach, to Megan, to Stephanie, to Katie, whoever, and let us help you with these. As a new coach, sometimes it takes a little bit to just kind of get the hang of it and have that confidence and not just like word vomit on everybody. So don't overthink it, but this is a great way just to get people started. So I would recommend your goal in November is you're gonna help 3 people. You get to help 3 people, like such a privilege, such a joy, and you're going to sign up them as discount coaches, VIP customers, etc. So with your spouse, they are a part of your business. So it's really important, first of all, that you know, because Beachbody will call you out on it, and I agree with it. They need to know that they're signed up. You can't just like sneakily sign them up and then Beachbody calls and they're like, I'm a coach. No, they are part of your business. My husband is a huge part of my coaching business. Now, he never posts on social media, maybe once every 5 years. So he's not like actively running my business, but you know what? He massively helps me with strategy. He watched all the compensation plan stuff and he understands it so much. And I will run stuff off of him like, okay, babe, what do you think? Like, here's my goal. Let's chat about this. It is a strategy. It's not faking it. But it's also an account that you can control. And signing up your spouse as one of your very first coaches is really important at the beginning because like I said, and I know it might be confusing right now, but they're going to bank all the volume that you start to create. They are going to benefit from all the work that you continue to do. And as you start to grow your business, it's an account that you have some control over. And so I signed Ben up with a PIO challenge pack. I laughed so hard. I'm like, you need PIO? Way back in the day. Now, because we have Beachbody On Demand, I would not recommend signing them up with a challenge pack. You do not, or with PIO, you do not need 2 Beachbody On Demand accounts, but it's a really great time to set them up with a 3-day refresh challenge pack. You're able to do it. You're able to try it. You can order new flavors of Shakeology and try that sampler pack. There's a few different things that you can do to get them signed up that doesn't require having double Beachbody On Demand. We don't have 2 Shakeology orders. We're not paying for 2 Beachbody On Demand subscriptions. Sometimes people hear that and they're like, I cannot afford to have my spouse as a coach because I can't have all the things. But one thing that's really helpful is that when your spouse is a coach, you can order stuff under their account. So anything that is not my Shakeology, I order under Ben. So Energize, Beach Bars, collagen, literally anything that's not my Shakeology order, because we need to have that, I order under him. It's still a 25% discount, so it's cheaper. But then guess what? Because I'm an Emerald or Diamond coach, I start cycling off of that volume. So now I'm getting the discount and I'm getting $14 or $28, etc. from that volume going up. Again, I know this might be confusing right now. What I'm trying to help you understand early is the strategy to doing this if you're in this business for the long run. And so if you're uber confused after I do this, reach out to me and we can kind of chat about your specific situation. So signing them up, get to Success Club, and then we're going to work on getting your spouse to Emerald. And we're just going to keep creating emeralds underneath you. And we'll talk about that more. And why I've talked about this already, so we're good there. And then long-term strategy is they're going to help you get to Diamond. And they will be, again, just another thing that you can build volume underneath you where they're placed. Like I said, Ben's account earns money for us now, which is a huge blessing. And it's, again, something that I can control in my business, which is really, really helpful. So kind of thinking through long-term is if you're helping 3 people, which is hitting Success Club, and you're signing everybody up as discount coaches between now and December, you would be a Diamond coach. If you help 3 people a month get started, you're basically there. And then we'll help 2 of your people do the same thing. Maybe you have a challenger who's rocking it and her best friend and her mom want to join your next challenge group. Boom, she's an Emerald coach. And it's really that simple. It's just helping people help people. And you're just helping at least 2 to 3 people every single month is your goal. So you don't need to worry about gemstones. You don't need to worry about cycle bonuses. And you can like forget, like you're like, Abby told me this thing about $14 and $200 and now I'm confused. I want you to know that that's possible. But what I want you to really take away from this call today is, first of all, the impact this business can have on your family, the goals, the benchmarks that we're going to achieve to get you there so that if you're taking time away from your family or your job to do this business and you're working in an hour or 2 a day, I want it to start paying you the time that you're invested in and more. And so as a new coach, you're not going to feel like you're earning tons of money right away. I remember feeling like, oh my gosh, I'm doing so much work and I'm not getting paid tons. And then my husband gave me the gut check. He's like, Abby, how much are you working? I was like, oh, maybe an hour. He's like, okay, so you just got paid $50 an hour. Like, that's not bad. I was like, okay, you're right. So first of all, give yourself the gut check of like, if you're only spending this much time, but the way that Beachbody has laid out our business, which I really appreciate, is that the more you grow as a leader and the more people that you help and you kind of start to build this depth, the compensation plan just starts to explode. And so there are other network marketing companies that you'll see people like 2 weeks in and they're getting keys to Mercedes and all this stuff. There's kind of 2 different structures. One of them front loads everything and Beachbody has it on the back end. And I really love that because it really helps you take these first little baby steps in your business and start to build confidence and growth as a leader. And you start to kind of it starts to click. And so that's why we talk about this right away with you, where there's so much potential. And everything that you are going to go through right now in your business, every bump in the road, every person that says no, every message that somebody ignores, every post that you want to puke when you make, every single thing is starting to grow you into the person who's able to handle the bigger team, handle the bigger paychecks, really become that. You're not ready for that right now. We're just starting to get you there. And this is that process. And so if you are serious about working this business, and there's no shame if you're not, truly, like there's room for everybody. But if you're someone who's like, yes, I need this, I want this, I'm excited about this, then Emerald is going to be your goal. And so we are actually going to do a little push to Emerald group. You'll see us post about it in the team page either tonight or tomorrow morning. It's going to be the first week of November. So we're just going to kind of help you guys all get to Emerald. And we're just going to go through that together. And then we'll kind of work on achieving these next goals through this business. But I have seen so many people come in as a brand new coach and either get discouraged and overwhelmed, because it is overwhelming sometimes, and you feel like, oh my gosh, no one's liking my posts and it's only my mom who watches my stories, and like, my graphics aren't pretty. But I will tell you, friends, that consistency imperfectly pays off. And you have a story that matters. You have a story that can make a difference in someone's life. And we have the beautiful opportunity to be able to do that. And when you can show up with consistency, even if your graphics aren't pretty and your posts aren't perfect, doesn't matter. They'll get better and you'll find your voice and all of that. It will all get easier, I promise. I remember 6 months in, it finally started to click for me. I was like, okay, I can do this. It will get better, but it will pay off in time. So I know I just blabbered a lot. Is there anything else that you guys, Carmela, can you clarify what you mean by how team calls are made? Like how many we have? I'm just looking here, if you can. And while she's typing in there, if there's anything I missed, of like you leaders, if you want to pop on and say anything, or there's any other questions, I'll look through this. Anything else would be helpful for you guys? Or Stephanie or Katie, anything you guys want to add? I don't know.
I think one of my biggest things in the beginning was to not worry about trying to measure up to what other coaches were doing or trying to compare my content or my pictures and stuff like that, because I really needed to find my own groove. I really needed to find what's going to work for me, because I work full time. I don't have all day. In the very beginning, my first 2 months, I wasn't working. I was on furlough, which was awesome because I could really dive into all the trainings with Beachbody. After that point, I was working full time and I had to find like, where is my hour a day going to come from? Because it's got to fit here. And because I only had that hour a day, I had to be really particular about what I was investing my time in. And yes, Saturdays and Sundays, I love to be creative. So I really liked, it kind of killed me a little bit that I couldn't do more like creative pictures or posts with the writing and, you know, just fun stuff. But I had to pick and choose. What am I going to be focusing on that's going to give my business growth, financial growth, and just business growth? And what can I focus on maybe on the weekends when I have more time for the fluff, for the fun, little things? And how can I make it stretch? So when I would try to write a post, so we encourage you to write, you know, 5 to 7 posts or whatever throughout your week. And I had to start with 3. I couldn't do that many. It was really hard for me. But then I realized I'm writing books when I write a post. So if I wrote this really long story and I could take pieces of that and spread it into 3 different posts, I could make things last a whole lot longer. Plus, a lot of people don't like to read all of that. Some people do. I'm a reader. I'm also a writer. So I love all that. But for most people, they're like, oh, I like your picture. I didn't read your content though. Or I missed your, you know, call to action because it's at the very bottom and I didn't read that far. You know, little things like that that give me like this, oh, so let me just take that as constructive criticism and shorten up my post a little bit. And that's just my own personal starting, like the things that feedback that I was getting from people, like you should do more posts about your transformation, because I was so like, oh, people don't want to see the transformation all the time, but I have a pretty huge transformation, so it really draws people in. It's that wow factor that makes people stop scrolling and say, well, what did she do? Let me read the content. And that's where I give value. And I try to stay consistent on, am I offering something about my faith every week? Something about nutrition every week? How I stay consistent with my time management in my week? And then also about coaching, to encourage people to join me or to do a challenge with me. And that's all what I try to fit in my 5 posts a week. That's pretty much what I do. I'm not a 7 posts a week kind of girl. It's just not me. But and my quality, my content is quality. That's my goal. My point in saying any of that is that it's what resonates best with me and works best with my schedule and my lifestyle.
Such helpful tips. Thank you, Stephanie. Yeah, I did the same thing because when I started, I was working full time. So it's the same kind of thing. Katie, I don't know if you can unmute. I know Sophia might be sleeping. Do you have any, if you do want to share anything, do you have anything you want to share?
I can unmute. She's awake, but I don't have too much to add to that. I feel like everybody said it.
No, and I think as a new coach, a couple other things too, and this is a little bit off topic, but just helping you guys kind of get organized, like Stephanie was saying, it's not going to feel easy. And I think if you're like me, like I did not do social media before I became a coach at all. So it's hard. It's like hard to learn, like, oh, what am I doing? But just starting to share, like, I always just think, like, how can I add value today? So sharing a clean recipe, like, how many busy people are looking for healthy, like, treats? People, whenever I share, and you guys are more than welcome to steal it, that Greek yogurt, if you don't know what it is, go look on my page, you'll find it. Greek yogurt with chocolate chips and peanut butter and a little bit of vanilla. That people, every time I share that, I get comments on it because it's like a cleaned up cookie dough, just something that simple. And saying something like, hey, one of the things I love about being a coach is that I get to look for healthier hacks for my favorite recipes. Figured I'd be nice and share it here. So all of a sudden, you're not just sharing and adding value, but you're putting that little bit of a twist on it of like one of the things that I love about being a coach. So all of a sudden people are like, oh, that's part of her job. Or in her challenge groups, she shared this. Interesting. And it's just kind of like breadcrumbing those things. So every single day I try to think, how can I add value? And I try to have it be an 80-20 rule in my posts. So I try to have 80% of my posts just sharing and not being salesy or spammy or anything like that. And 20% being a more like, hey, my group is open, we are starting. So if I post once a day, that would mean that about 5 of my posts would just be value added, not a hard kind of post like join my boot camp. And then 2 of them, 1 or 2 a week, would be a little bit more asking. And that way they're striking a balance where people aren't just feeling like I'm just constantly in their face selling something. I want them to connect with me as a person. I want to genuinely be their friend. I want them to trust me. And so that's what I share. So you can go look at my stuff. But in my stories every single day, and today is a terrible example because it was a really hard day with my kids. So I'm just being real. Like, my stories today are not great. But in my stories every day, I try to look through as we talk about the vital behaviors of coaching, right? We have our workouts and our nutrition. We do our personal development. We have our challenge groups, right? So we're supporting our people and we're inviting. So I try to think, how can I share that every day in my stories behind the scene? So every day you will see either Shakeology or Energize or both in my stories. Not talking about it necessarily, but it's there before I'm working out. It's always there with me. I'm sharing a little screenshot of something in my devotions or my personal development that I read, and I'm maybe putting a caption on the page of why it stood out to me, not just like cool thing, but like, here's why it hit home, because I used to struggle with confidence and I'm an introvert and I've loved getting out of my comfort zone, or you fill in the blank of what's appropriate for you. I'll share a workout move. Not 20 million of them, but I share at least 1 to 3 slides of like a couple favorite moves of my workout. And on that, again, it's not just cool, have you worked out today, but it's adding value in some form. So maybe it's talking about working out around my kids. Maybe it's saying, hey, here's some tips for like my 3 favorite ab moves. I'm seeing if Ashley's on this call. Like, Ashley, I know you have like a personal training background, so you have a lot to add there. Here's how God is like really helping me grow in this season, and here's what working out and pushing through does for me. Like, you fill in the blank there, but like adding value even there. I try to shout out my challengers on my stories. If you don't have challengers to shout out, guys, you can shout out us. You can share our transformations. That's the beauty of being a team, is I can share Katie's post of her working out in the hospital and be like, oh my gosh, this girl inspires me every day. Like, talk about showing up with no excuses. I can share Stephanie's, so you can feel free to share. And people do not know, the top coach, people who are not in Beachbody world do not know that you're not the #1 coach in the company, right? They don't know. So shout us out and share and like utilize being part of a team. So share your people, add value. You know, I try to share a recipe or something about food. Last night it was screenshotting the back of my marinara sauce and just circling and being like, I look for low, like, watch out, sugars can sneak in here. Like, here's a little tip for you. And then every single day, I also try to have something in my stories that is an invite. I hardcore invite in my stories very consistently. Katie did an incredible job. I don't know if they're expired yet, but your stories either from this morning or last night of you talking about having a plan to follow in your challenge groups. Like, I watched them, Katie, and I don't know if they're still up. They were so good. She really broke through, like, here's why this works for me. Like, I like being told what to do. I have a plan to follow, and she just broke it down. So something like that, you don't have to have all the pretty graphics. Get on there and talk about why this is working for you and why you're loving it. Make sure that every single day people know that there's room for them to the party. There's room for them. And if they're just continuing to creep on your stuff, I shoot them an invite and I'm like, oh my gosh, Alicia, like, thank you so much for continuing to watch my stories. Girl, you should jump in with me in November. Like, more the merrier. Come on. So don't get intimidated. Don't overthink it. Just think of like, what do you love to see, and share that, because it's going to resonate with the people who are like you. So I love to see devotions. I like mom stuff. I love preschool hacks. I like sweet treats. I like, all. So I share that because that's me. Stephanie is at work. Everyone's like demographic is going to be a little different. So just start trying stuff every day. But every day, I want you guys to send at least, and I'm going to challenge you. I want you to send at least 3 to 5 invites a day. I don't want you sending 100. 0 invites is not sustainable for your business, and 100 invites a day is not going to make you a great mom, wife, or human. That's just too much. 3 to 5 is totally doable. Or if you can't do 3 to 5 a day, do it in a week. So do your math and do 20 a week or something like that. But 3 to 5 invites where you're genuinely connecting with people or watching your stories. I want you to add about 10 people to your social media following. So if that's on Facebook or Instagram, you're going to go and you're going to find 10 people. Go to accounts that are similar than yours. You can go, there's so many trainings on this and we can talk through this. Just post in the October Launchpad if you need help, and we'll come in there and help. But add 10 people, 3 to 5 invites, and show up consistently, and your business is going to grow. That's all that it is. And if you need help, please ask. Comment in your chat thread, reach out to your coach, post in that October Launchpad group. That's what it's there for, and we will help you. And if you're having trouble in the conversations with people, like once you do invite them, let us know, because that's where a lot of new coaches get hung up and you guys like freeze or word vomit, because I did it too. So this is not making fun of anybody. I was so guilty of that. And so let us help you with those conversations, because that's important. Katie, I used to spend a lot of time on pretty graphic stories. Now I do it maybe once a week. Yep. It's much faster for me to jump on and talk through slides, and I get many more people. I agree. And the slides also, you guys, sorry, and I'll let you go really quick, but 2 things. People love to hear your voice. I know it's scary to talk on stories at first, but they connect with you and they start to hear your tone and like your personality. And I do not re-record unless it was something horrible happening. If my kids run through yelling behind me, I just roll with it, because that's real life. And I want people to connect with that. If I have a laundry pile behind me on my bed, I roll with it. That's real life. So it does not have to be perfect. People love authenticity. So don't feel like you have to be this like weird scripted robot. Okay, just be yourself. That's perfect. And I do think that you can overdo it on the graphics. Like, they're beautiful and they're necessary, but you can't overdo it. But if you need help with them, in our team Google Docs, and again, if you're a newer coach, you may not know this, but right here in Pineapple Empire Resources, we have right here this folder. It says Challenge Group Scripts and Resources right here. If you click on that and go to the monthly one, I actually purchased something for our team and I share it with you guys. And this has Challenge Group Scripts already done for you, and it has Instagram stories already done for you. So you can click like on November's, and if you go here, Instagram story templates. Look at all these pretty stories already done. And all I do is I open it up on my computer, I download them onto my computer, and then I send them to myself on Facebook Messenger or email. That's what usually works best for me. So you can use these, but also don't forget the power of your voice. And there's a ton of stuff in here. There's all sorts of things that you can use for all sorts of stuff to read. You can give away a family fun calendar to people. They have all sorts of things in here for you. So don't rely so much on the graphics, but know there's help for you. And it is a learning experience, yes. Okay, anything else? Fail forward, yes, Katie, no one knows. I still don't know 5 years in, I'm still having to learn. I built my whole business on Facebook, and 2 years ago I switched it to Instagram and felt like I had to relearn, because it's a totally different platform. I was like, oh my gosh, what am I doing? So it will get better. And this is such a great team. Like, you guys picked the best team to be a part of. Is there anything else you guys have questions on before I let you go? Or are you feeling overwhelmed, or are you feeling more clear? Be honest. It does not hurt my feelings if I overwhelmed you more. Alicia, I'm gonna call you out. How are you feeling? Good, okay. Caitlin, you good? Good, okay. Sarah, I'm gonna pick on you guys. Yeah, good, okay. Awesome. And I know there's people watching the recording too. So let me do a quick boomerang so I can tag you. And I'm gonna go make dinner for my family before they die of starvation. Okay, Do you guys just want to like wait? Whoa, that one makes me look like a ghost. Hold on. Let me find a good filter first. These are not working. The no makeup look today and the filters are not working. Okay, 1, 2, 3. Oh, wait, that was a photo. Fail. Hold on. 1, 2, 3. Awesome. You guys are great. I will tag you. Thank you for taking time on a Wednesday. You will see either Megan or myself or Stephanie. One of us will figure out who's posting, but we'll do a Push to Emerald group for the first week of November. So you'll see that come through. But I challenge you tonight, if you haven't made a post yet today, go get a post up, add value, serve first, figure out what is bringing you joy and do that. And then go send 3 invites and add 10 people. And post in our October Launchpad group when you've done that today, and we will cheer you on big time. Okay? All right. Bye, guys.